Hi. I didn't see you there.
All right,
This
let's do it
is
again. I'll do five, four,
no, you got
three.
to include that whole part. That's always good. Um, all of this. Oh, look at your hat. I didn't see you had that hat on
Oh,
with the Muir Woods. Okay. Hey, everybody. It's Eugene, Matt. We're here again. Save World, Make Art. Are you showing that because you want everybody to know that I don't have one of those cups? My
it's
child
true.
went to Grand Valley.
Your
I
child went and graduated, and you still did not
Where's my
have
bling?
coffee out of
Where's
your
my
Grand
swag?
Valley dad mug.
I didn't. So welcome to Save World, Make Art. Say hi to everybody, Eugene.
Hello, everybody.
We wouldn't be here unless you did. Look at that face. All right. So you got a big deal going on tonight.
I
Um,
do, man. It is all the rage in the art world, all the talk of the town. People are going to be coming from neighboring villages and towns. I think they're going to be traveling by canoe
oh,
to
okay.
arrive.
Okay,
And
let's just back this up a little bit. You have a show, my friend,
I
and
do have a
I
show.
want everybody to know about this show. We got to get this
Right.
out there. All right. Now tonight's
Let's
the
talk
opening.
about it.
This show is going to be open for how many? Oh, can you put the flyer up?
Yes, I'm going to share my screen right now, Mr. Faulkner,
Good.
to help individuals that are watching our program here to really, just dive in
Yeah, yeah.
to exactly what we're talking about. So here
Awesome.
we go. I've got everything ready to go. There it
So
is. Do you see the flyer there? Symbiotic Nature is the title of the program. It's not really
Recent
a
Works
program,
by
it's an art
Eugene
exhibition.
Clark.
Yeah, so it's my
Beauty,
first
beauty.
solo show in a number of years, and I'm very excited about that.
It's beautiful. And so it's at the Macomb Community College. The
Yes,
opening is
Macomb
tonight,
Community College.
but it's going to run through December 15th. So, it's a little bit late notice. That's okay. If you can't make it to the show tonight, I'm going to be there. Eugene's going to be there. So you should be there too. But if you can't, we're not going to shame you, maybe just a little bit, but you can get there by December 15th. Look at that. Jesus,
So if you
Eugene.
if you can't go, just take this photo and screenshot it, and then you can zoom in on all
Yeah.
the paintings, just like I'm doing, and you can
Show it
kind
to
of
all your friends.
feel like you're at the show, just like that. And then you
What are
can
you
just
doing? How
say,
do you do
"Hey,
that?
I saw the
Oh,
show." So this is what it looks like from outside the gallery looking in before you
how
walk
many
in the
pieces do you
door.
have?
So there are 12 pieces total in this show. Six of them are part of a series called The Anatomy of Humanity. And then five of them are part of a 20-foot long mural, which is called Transformation, which you, Matt Faulkner, helped me to organize my ideas for. And
Okay.
then we have one piece that is on this wall right here that is a charcoal piece that is sort of a hearkening to the past. So people
Beautiful.
can kind of get an idea of what I was working on when I was in grad school.
Okay,
And
so
it's a
the piece
charcoal
beyond
piece.
it is the pentaptych.
Right. So the pentaptych is back here. And then Anatomy of Humanity is on this wall. And so it really, the title, Symbiotic Nature, is just referencing that there are truly two main bodies of work that are facing each other. So I feel like it's a symbiosis of those two bodies within one space. And so
Hmm.
I think it's fascinating that that is the case for this show, to be able to stand in the center of the room and just sort of, turn back and forth like this. You go this way, then you go over this way, then you go over this way, then you go that, and you just kind of get this idea of the two bodies sort of, sharing thoughts and imagery and color and form to you. And what does that do for the individual?
Yeah. So where are the connections? Where are the differences? And how does that all resonate? Where do I as the viewer too resonate with the connections that you're establishing here? That's interesting. Is
Yeah,
that the
and what's
show?
And that is the exhibition. I was just taking a selfie
Okay,
against one of the walls. And
beautiful.
what I like about this space is that the ceilings are regular height, like the height that they would be in a normal room of any sort, like about 10 feet. Whereas when I've shown these pieces in the past, they've been in a very large building, the DeVos Center in Grand Rapids. And so the ceilings are super high, the walls are really big, so they're hung a little higher, and therefore your eye level is quite different, and you're sort of looking up at the pieces. Where here, you'll notice everything is set up so that your eye level is going to be pretty much central to the work.
That's
And
beautiful.
so it's almost like you can walk into the painting because they're 6 feet tall.
Okay,
So they're only hung slightly off the floor, as you can see towards the bottom. And therefore, you really get immersed into the piece.
are you working, is this, aside from the charcoal on the left, are you working in, having a senior moment, oils or acrylics? In these?
So all the pieces, which are paintings, are all done in acrylic.
Okay, next question. I see that you've signed your work on some of them on the left-hand side. You realize that that's illegal in the art world. I'm a citizen
You
police
know,
officer here.
leave it to me to break up normality in our
Yeah,
work.
that's wrong. That's just
You
wrong.
know, I was telling my students that ever since the uh, early part of the 20th century, or really going back, I would say, to the Impressionists, the trajectory of artists since the Impressionists is to break the rules. Rules are made to be broken, and as artists, that really has been the goal.
That's one of the rules.
So much so that, you know, we got into Marcel Duchamp and the appropriation period, where we were using found objects as what they called ready-mades to just represent something that no one physically had to create. They were
Mhm.
just repurposing it as an image to mean
And
something
offer a
else.
different
And
meaning.
yeah, and then even Helen Frankenthaler and the field painting movement, which was the absence of really any imagery, true imagery, to what we have today.
Is she the person who painted the really big, like shapes of color? Or is that somebody else?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that was Helen.
I think I saw her work once in New York City. Look
Yeah.
at that. I'm
So there you go. So that's our introduction to the show that's coming up. If you can make it, great. If you can't, come and see the show before it comes down December 15th.
Symbiotic Nature, recent works
Symbiotic
by
Nature.
Eugene Clark.
Yes.
Let's
And I
get there.
also
Let's
did
get
these
there,
pieces
people.
behind us. Let's take a look at those.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Away.
We were talking about them earlier. They are charcoal, but they look like, because of your instruction in lithography, they look like lithographs. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. That was definitely a motivation of mine, was to treat my charcoal drawing in a manner that I had been accustomed to working in lithography. So there you go. So we'll do another episode where I'll drag out a bunch of old prints and talk about the methods and the approach. You know, and you mentioned stone lithography, which is how lithography originated on these very large pieces of stone that were super, super thick, really, really heavy. And you grind down the surface, and then you're able to draw right on that to create your print. Now
Yeah, I
that,
want to talk about some of that. That's interesting
yeah,
to me.
yeah, that changed over. So we had those stones and we used them, but quite often we would use these aluminum plates that were also ground down and susceptible to grease, just like the stone, but they were portable. So you could take those home and basically get the same result. And so, everything sort of
I did that.
evolves. And you
I
did
did the
that.
metal. I did the metal etching. We got to talk about this. We got to, I did a semester of it, so I'm not to the same place that you are. I also want to talk about symbiotic nature because we're going to move into a thing that you and I are doing up here in Lake Orion, Michigan. But just the symbiotic nature of you and me, it's not, at least when I went to school, it wasn't something that happened naturally because it wasn't supported, that a person in fine arts like yourself and a person in illustration like me would hang out and have a symbiotic connections, right? It would be
Right.
more like this than like this. Right. And so that is really interesting to me, is that we're
Yeah.
both looking to do that. So
I lucked out because I was fascinated with the human figure, and because I took so many painting and drawing and sculpture classes with that as the subject, and because the students in the illustration department didn't really have access in their department to classes that were teaching it to that degree, they tended to find their way over to fine arts to take some of those classes. And that would be how I would meet students in both illustration or communication design. That's what it was called.
yeah. And you developed, see, and one of my teachers was a fine artist, a mosaicist and an oil painter. And so he was a kind of a postmodernist. I mean, he liked also to paint uh, actual imagery. I forget what that's called in fine art, but he was also very much into design, and so we both had these windows into the supposedly all opposing camps, and we both have interest in those. So who gives a? Oh, I was going to say a bad thing. Who cares?
I've never heard Matt Faulkner ever say anything bad. He always says
It's a
good
rat's
things.
keister. Okay, I mean, I'm interested in all of these things.
Yeah,
Just the way it
so
is,
so in art school, there was definitely a divide, right? First of all, the heading of a department is different than a heading of another department. So then,
Right.
therefore, the divide exists. But what was cool is that I did notice a little bit of crossover periodically, which would then allow you a chance to, associate with some of these people from the other departments. But, that wasn't always the case. And there were quite a few people that didn't feel that that was where they wanted their art experience to be because they wanted to stay, within their group. And, that happens so often in so many things, politics and other, just like the dynamics of my neighborhood, school, that whole thing. But I think that in art, that divide can be really loose and almost non-existent when people find this affection for these things that have been around forever, painting, drawing, things like the human figure, which are difficult and challenging, but worth studying, and that it does help to make your work better. And so when people start to embrace that part of it, it really becomes a game changer for how it brings artists together.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing right there, is bringing artists together, which brings up this project that you and I are working on that's going to come into fruition in February. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen because, yeah, we want to support people coming together. And it's good to delineate between this is one kind of art, this is one way of expressing, this is another way of expressing. But when that starts to become this is the good way and that's the bad way, that's when it becomes divisive and not helpful. Because I've learned so much from Eugene and his approach through fine arts, right? And all my teachers who were fine artists. And that's the way it should be, right? So this is what we're doing coming up here in February. We're doing what we call the 24-hour challenge. What is this about, Eugene? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
well, I did a little Facebook post and Instagram post today. And in my post or in my description of this event, not only did I call it 24-hour art challenge, but I said, if you've ever heard of the word charrette, that's what this is. It's a charrette. And you were the person that introduced me to that word. And when you and I first discussed this idea with the Orion Art Center, I was surprised how many people at that meeting were familiar with the word charrette. So I felt like I was kind of late to the game. So I like to use that word to help others that are familiar to connect it. But then for people like me that don't know what it is, hopefully they will be like, oh, I am now familiar with the word charrette and I understand. So the charrette is basically like a meeting of individuals that their sole purpose is to work together to solve some sort of a problem and carry that through. And so in this particular charrette, Matt and I are challenging individuals to not necessarily work as a group, to work individually, but along those same lines. We're going to give you a set of problems that you have to solve.
So yeah, I mean, that's it right there. And it's going to happen on February 3rd and 4th for 24 hours from 10 a.m. till 10 a.m. You'll show up. We'll probably going to have some bagels there and some warm beverage. It is February, so we got to warm people up. And it's at the Oakland Art Center's Moose Tree Studio, which is a beautiful space out on the edge of some lovely woods. And there's enough space there for, man, we could have like 100, 150 people there. And the reason why we're going to have 100 or 150 people there, why is that, Eugene? Because the first prize is $1,000, people. You're going to get a problem, a design problem from me and Eugene when you get there, right? You got to be there promptly at 10 a.m. because we're going to give you that, and you have only 24 hours. And you'll eat your bagel and drink your hot cocoa and coffee while you consider this problem. Now, we're not going to tell you what the problem is, but we want you to know that the final piece of art will be an 11 by 14 inch in vertical format, two-dimensional image. You can work traditionally or you can work digitally. We're going to ask people not to use artificial intelligence. We're not just ask, we're going to tell people, do not use artificial intelligence, because we want you to use your mind, not the minds of millions of other people that AI takes from. That'll be a whole other SaveWorld MakeArt post. The deadline is on the following Sunday. There will be more bagels and beverage Sunday morning when you get there. We will judge the work, and first and second place prizes will be awarded directly thereafter. What do you think, Eugene? Is that enough information for people? Like, do we need to?
Yes.
Oh, we have fees.
Yes. So there's a little fee, minimal fee. If you are 16 years to 22 years, you can enter for $50, which is so minimal compared to the 1,000 that you could win. And then if you're 22, older than 22, all the way up to, any age adult, then the fee is $100. Again, small compared to what you could win. My feeling is that you should go into this thinking to yourself, I'm going to try and push myself to become a better artist. So one way that you're going to do that is in a short period of time, you're going to create a completed work, which any person out there that is creative of any type knows that to be deadline driven is very helpful. So this is a deadline. It's 24 hours. What can you do in that time frame? You probably can do a lot more than you ever imagined. So that right there is going to elevate who you are as an artist. Like, this is that moment where after you go through this, you're not going to be the same. You're going to be different. Your work is going to be better. You're going to see things differently. You're going to be influenced by all the people that are in the competition with you. And if there are people that are better than you, which we hope that that is the case for everyone, you feel like, oh my gosh, these people are better than me. That's good because that makes you work at a higher level.
Yeah. And it's our intention that this is not the only time this thing is going to happen in Lake Orion. We want it to happen elsewhere too, but primarily right now, this is the thing. We're going to do this every year. And who knows, maybe the first and second prizes will go up every year. The main thing is too, that both Eugene and I are teachers at the collegiate level, and we're going to hang around from 10 a.m. on Saturday. And I think we'll keep the studio open until probably around dinner time. So there'll be like 5 or 6 hours that we'll be walking around with you when you come here and start to do your work. And we're going to encourage people to stick around because conversations will be had. Answers, you will create answers by seeing how other people are answering theirs without taking from other people's work. You will learn from how other people by attack a design problem like this, like we're going to present, by simply being around them. And that's one of the other things that we're doing here is it's our intention to develop community, the creative community in this area by offering this challenge. Let's get to know each other. Let's see who are on our team, the creatives team. And it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Don't you think, Eugene?
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. And, it's going to be the premier competition that people will look forward to year in and year out, because there really is nothing in Michigan or the Midwest that we can point to that rivals this competition.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. And this one in particular, it's got a storytelling element to it. But that doesn't mean if you're, a postmodern painter that you can't come here and give your interpretation of this assignment. There will be parameters and boundaries. You'll have to work within a certain set of criteria. That happens in every creative endeavor. Am I right, Eugene? I mean, but
yes,
just because this has got some illustrative qualities to it doesn't mean that if you're, like I said, postmodernist or an expressionist, that you can't come here and give your interpretation. A lot of those great painters also painted posters when they were, oops, I shouldn't have said that. The impressionists, the expressionists also designed posters and magazine covers in their day. So we can do this.
Yes. And for people that may have not worked necessarily in the way that we will be asking you to work, which is sort of connected to the whole world building aspect of art making. If you're not familiar with that, character design, environment design, prop design, storytelling, as Matt mentioned, you're essentially working within the confines of this imaginative world that you're going to be creating that is connected then to the prompts that we give you, and then you break into the project that we assign. So that being said, don't allow that to prevent you from signing up, because this could be the time where you dive in and figure out what this whole thing is about, to the end result being maybe you're going to continue working in this fashion because you found it to be very refreshing and very rewarding.
And you could find all sorts of strengths and gifts that you didn't know you had. And besides that, we're going to make connections. We're going to connect with people.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, I've got a couple images I'm going to show.
Okay. I mean, that's the primary thing to me is like, can we have some fun? It's the middle of the winter. Christmas will have been over. All of the holiday season stuff will be done. Let's light a fire, a creative fire in the middle of the winter and meet and enjoy each other's creative company. What are you doing?
If you take that image off, I'll throw on a couple other things.
Oh, you want me to stop sharing? There.
All right. I was just going to show an image that
I was going to know that naturally, that you were trying to share an image and I should stop sharing my image.
It's okay.
What a silly assumption.
Whoops, this is not what I wanted to show. I apologize. Let's take that off and let's go back to.
What was that? That was your anatomy.
That's a hand and drawing workshop that's coming up. All right, so
I want to see that.
Okay, here's what I'm going to show, this right here. So what I like about this image, and this is what I put on Facebook, it shows someone with their materials. So this person is working primarily with marker. You can see back here some other designs that they were working on of characters that sort of went along with what we were doing in a different workshop. And then here is a project that they are working on that is, you know, size-wise closer to what people are going to be working with. This area right here is where they test their markers to see, you know, if they have the right color, if it's working properly. So it just kind of gives you a nice visual as to what to expect when you get there, how to set up your scenario, materials that you might want to bring with you. And what would you like to add to that, Matt?
Well, that's the primary thing too, is the image size is set. It's 11 inches by 14 inches, but you can work in any material you want, and it will be up to you to bring those materials. We're not going to provide the materials upon which you're going to make your image. You bring the images that you want, but it does need to be 11 by 14 vertical format. And that's what, and
Yeah.
it's fun. This is going to be so cool. I plan on hanging out all day on Saturday because I want to hang out with you guys. I want to have these conversations. We're going to be like, Eugene and I are going to be walking around, giving observations, helping people, talking about the way things look, the way a person is moving forward in their work. So it's going to be great. I
Yes.
can't
And
wait.
when we say calling all artists, you have to know that you're invited to participate not only in a 24-hour challenge, but it's an inaugural event. First of all, nothing like this has taken place in the state of Michigan, a charrette where you win $1,000 in 24 hours, you or one of however many people sign up, which we're not even sure how many we're going to get. Let's just say we only had 10 people. You got a 1 in 10 chance of walking away with the prize money. That's pretty sweet.
Boom,
But
baby.
don't do it for the prize money. Do it to become a better artist. That is what I always like to say to people. Do it to become a better artist.
The prize money is pretty good too. I'm just saying.
So we're promoting community, but we're also promoting the act of art making.
Yes.
Because when you create a competition like this, it generates energy and excitement. It generates a buzz. It generates this notion that, oh my gosh, something is happening. And it becomes the nucleus of something bigger. So hopefully 10 years down the line or further, you and I are going to be having a conversation like this, and we're going to look back at the beginnings, the meager beginnings of such a competition that now will, in essence, take on a life of its own. Like in Grand Rapids, Art Prize, the originators stepped away last year. After Art Prize had been around for over 10 years, they handed the torch to the city of Grand Rapids, who basically could have set the torch down and said, okay, that's it. But they recognized that this competition was such, it was gaining such ground. People were coming from all over, artists were submitting from all over the world. Grand Rapids was in the spotlight. They didn't want to let that go. So you know what they did? They added more prize money and they elevated it, and they opened up the categories and they expanded those to where they have public votes, they have juried votes. It's incredible. And so this is what can happen with a competition like this. This is our hopes, this is our dream. Community, but elevating this notion of what you can do with your artwork here in the confines of Michigan. And I imagine that if, like you said, Matt, if we do take this and spread it into different parts of the country, you know, it could become a regional, and then those people then join forces for a national version of this at some point. So I could imagine that this could definitely start to become something like that.
Yep.
So it's going to be an honor to be part of it.
Yep.
You know, only 2 people are going to walk away with prize money. That doesn't mean that what you did wasn't worthy of anything. In fact, it's the opposite. The prize for every individual is the integrity that you now have infiltrated into your chromosomes with the silly notion that you could create something miraculous within a short period of time.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's a pretty cool notion.
Yep. We're gonna light a fire in the middle of February, in the middle of the winter. So beginning of February.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun. Gonna open
Hey,
up.
so I
next
just
week.
noticed that my phone is saying low battery. So I don't know what that means because I can't see how much my battery is. But apparently I should have plugged in my phone. So maybe that's good because people that, you know, watch our podcasts know that we do have the gift of gab. But I think we covered everything.
Okay, no, we got one more thing. I'm going to share one more thing. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so coming up in the beginning of December, I will be offering a surprise, a world building course at the Atelier School in Lake Orion. So this course is, as I said, here's my Facebook page post for it. It's being offered on December 2nd and 3rd. That's exactly 1 month away. It's a Saturday and a Sunday, and it's 6 hours a day, so 12 hours. Head on over to the Atelier School of Art's website. I think it's just atelierschoolofart.org. This is another prompt for it. World Building with Matt Faulkner, a workshop where we'll learn the art and craft of designing, drawing, and painting all the characters, places, and things you can imagine. As I said, December 2nd and 3rd, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturday and Sunday. And you can, yeah, there it is, atelierschoolofart.com. Okay. And yeah, is there anything else in this? We'll incorporate developing our sketch ideas into rendered final art. We're going to be working on characters, creatures, props, and environments. And we'll talk about color, medium, and even talking about what it's like to work with editors and art directors in the business of world creating, whether that is books, picture books, graphic novels, or game design. We're going to talk about all of those things during the class. So this is a lot of fun. I gave this, used to teach this course in a college level and gave this workshop this summer. It was well received. I think you'll have a lot of fun. If you're into building characters, you're going to enjoy this. And that's what I have to say about that.
Yay. Okay. So while you were talking, I plugged my phone in.
Yes.
And so you can see that I just moved to a new location of my kitchen to do that.
Beautiful.
But hopefully that won't cut us off while we're trying to bring the end of our.
That would have been.
So note to self.
We would have
plug in your device before you start your Zoom.
Out.
You know, just note to self, or don't talk for an hour before we hit record.
That's yeah. That's me.
You know,
because we enjoy each other's company. We have a lot to talk about.
We're the two guys. We're the two guys sitting around talking about our version of what Jerry Seinfeld started talking about comedians driving around in cars.
Yeah,
we're just the two. Yeah, we're just the two art guy versions of that.
Beautiful. Well, my friends, we've done it again. We've I think we've fixed a lot of things around the world. No, there's probably a few other things we haven't gotten to, but I had a lot of fun hanging with you. I hope everybody else enjoys what we shared, and we'll be back again soon, right?
Yes, we'll be back again soon. Until then, we want to say, save world, make art. Bye, everybody.
Peace and love, people. Adios.